yes. How have you been? To all of y'all streaming in as well, how have you been? Comment below. Let us know how you are doing. Tell us two things. Number one, where are you streaming in from? So type in below. And number two, what is your favorite drink? Maybe it's Milo. Maybe it's coffee. Maybe it's. I mean, what are you drinking?
Tea.
Tea. Maybe it's it is. If you're watching this right now, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram, comment below two things. Number one, where are you streaming in from? And number two, what is your favorite thing to drink? So I'm going to ask Alvin to go first because he pulled out something and he was showing us what he was drinking. So Alvin, let us know, where are you streaming in from and what's your favorite thing to drink?
I'm stringing from Kajang, and my favorite thing to drink, this is tea. I'm going to push this aside because it's at night. My favorite thing to drink is coffee. I love coffee, and I need to have my coffee in the morning. It kind of like kickstart my engine, and coffee is a must in my daily life. So I'm going to say my favorite drink is coffee. Coffee. Is there any coffee lover here? Comment below if you're like me, coffee, and yeah, Noel. I'm guessing you're gonna say coffee too.
No, I'll say something else. I'm a coffee lover, but it's not my favorite thing to drink. I'm just going to be honest. Because coffee doesn't taste that great. It's coffee. Coffee has a separate category on its own. So I'm streaming in from KL. My favorite thing to drink, it would be anything with bubbles, sparkling water, kombucha. I'm not hyping up today's show, but just saying that I like that sensation of bubbles on my tongue. So actually, generally, it's sparkling water, and they have sparkling water which are kind of flavored essence with lemon, orange, and so on. So that's my favorite thing to drink. I'd rather prefer something with bubbles than a flat tasting drink. So that's me. Coffee would probably be my second lah, if I had to answer that. Yeah. So that's what I would say. So yes, so that's us. To all of you watching, comment below. Let us know, where are you streaming in from and what is your favorite thing to drink, whatever it is. That's okay. No judgment. Coca-Cola, that's fine. Just post it.
I got a feeling some people from the audience is wondering, these two fitness professionals, their favorite drink should be water, plain water, but now
Yeah. So, but you can mix other things into the water. Right?
yeah. With that being said, we all should be drinking water, and we should have another favorite drink lah. If you're only drinking water, you're missing out a little bit in life, I feel.
Correct, because as much as people say just drink water, and by all means, water is great. You want to stay hydrated, but sometimes water can be boring. And I've worked with clients who there's actually people out there who hate drinking water. I'm sure you've come across people like that because they say that water tastes flat. And therefore they would, of course, there's two ways you can go lah. Water tastes flat, so you can either, maybe, I don't know, put in some fruit, squeeze a lemon inside and make your water more interesting. Or some people will go down the other part. I'll just drink Milo instead, or I'm gonna mix some Ribena. I'm gonna mix some sugar. That's another way, because at the end of the day, water is kind of tasteless. And I'm just being real. So sometimes it may seem kind of like a boring thing to drink. But yeah, so if you, like Alvin brought it up, if you thought that fitness professionals must say that water is what you should drink. So water is great for you, but we agree that sometimes water can be boring. So it's really about finding a way to get more, to be hydrated. Drinking water, like for me, I would rather drink more cans of sparkling water because it's more interesting. I look forward to it. And that's just me. So Alvin, what do we have in store for everyone in today's show? We have a giveaway also to all of y'all tuning in. Some of y'all got my email blast 30 minutes ago. I bribed y'all and said come for the show because we have a giveaway, and it's true. And Alvin will tell y'all more tell y'all more about it right now.
Yes. So we have a special guest. It's a pre-interview with Jason. But before that, I invite all of you who are tuning in, keep the comment coming, sharing with us what is your favorite drink. And if you're watching on Facebook and LinkedIn, I invite you to share this live so that I can reach out to more people. And we're going to pick one lucky winner from the audience to have what, a variety gift? I would say a variety pack. Yes, 6 of
Six
those, right?
bottles, smaller bottles lah, but
6
six bottles we're
six
giving
bottles
away.
of kombucha. 6 bottle of kombucha. And all you have to do is ask the questions. And how you can ask the question, comment your question below on Instagram, the little question mark box. And we're going to answer your questions. And we're going to pick one of you from the audience. We're going to send them over to you.
Privileged to have Jason Tan, who is the founder of Wild Kombucha. And if you have seen this bottle before, supermarkets, fitness events, this looks familiar to you, well, Jason is the guy behind this kombucha brand and drink. And they've been around for quite a few years now, and I'll let him tell you all about it. Jason, welcome to our show. Thank you for being here. We'll get right into it. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about Wild Kombucha? How did Wild Kombucha come about?
Thanks, Noel. Just to start, hello everyone. Thanks, Noel, again for having me here. I started kombucha back when I was dealing with some eczema issues of my skin. Um, my parents used to bring me to see the doctors, and they would prescribe to me steroid creams, which often works for temporarily, but then the eczema will always come back later on. So, in finding a more permanent solution, we met a doctor who suggested to me to change your diet or change the food that I was eating. And it was around this time when I was introduced by my brother to kombucha. So, he was the one who brought the culture to me. He taught me how to make it. And I started drinking regularly on my own. And it was only like several months later when I started to notice my skin improving. And that's when I decided also to look into gut health and try to understand what was going on. Um, it wasn't only till around 2016 when I decided to start this kombucha business. Back then, I was a chemical engineer in the oil and gas industry, and my last job was actually in Qatar. But when I was there, my eczema came back, and I had to come back home here to Malaysia to recover. And so I decided to take that leap of faith and start doing this, and taking my passion into a business.
Got it. I love that. So this is born out of something that you had a personal experience with. You've seen the benefits and how it helped heal your eczema, and therefore you are doing this because you want other people to experience that as well. I love that. That is the definition of what doing something passionate is. And you mentioned this now also, and that when it comes to eczema, it's about also changing your diet, making changes. So we are now in our series where we are exploring and talking to people like you who are passionate about healthy eating. So Jason, tell us what does healthy eating mean to you? When someone says eating well, eating healthy, what would you tell them if they asked you?
Um, Eating well just means eating food that works for your body. It's food you eat that should not make you feel sick or lead to illnesses or diseases later on. Um, so eating well is different for everyone. For example, for example, a vegan diet can work for this person but may not work for someone else. And so so basically, the food that you eat should not be debilitating to you, and rather should offer you support or improvement in your other functions in life, like sleep or your exercise. Because as they say, food is your fuel for living, so it should be doing those things rather than making you worse off.
Yeah, I love that. I love how simply you put it. It's like if you're eating this and it's making you feel better and improving your health, that's eating well. And so now coming back again to Wild Kombucha, I'll tell a little bit of my story as well as in what made me pick up a huge, massive bottle of Wild Kombucha and order more from your website earlier as well. Is that
No.
I've been drinking kombucha very randomly whenever I travel, when I go to the US, you can find it like everywhere in the stores. And what I like about kombucha is that the ones that I've drank before, they're very mildly sweet because of the process of how they make it, right? Because the sugar is digested by the bacteria in the drink. So you're not. I think kombucha is not supposed to be overly sweetened, and I like the fact that it's carbonated as well, because that to me is the sign of good kombucha. That means it's not too sweet and it's got some bubbles in there. And when I drank this, which I ordered about a week ago, I fell in love with it, and I thought that okay, this finally I found something here in the local market which I can really get behind. So tell me, Jason, for you, like what would you say is unique or special about Wild Kombucha? Because there are other brands in the market here. What makes you guys different?
Okay. Well, I think you said most of it, in that we understand as well just through the years what kombucha should taste like. And I think for us, it's finding that right balance of sweetness, the sourness, and the fizziness as well. And of course, the taste, which, what most people seek in a good kombucha. Um, Often, you will hear people saying that the more sour it is, the better. But a lot of people cannot handle um, too strong or too sour a taste. It's not very enjoyable in that sense. So, for us, it's refining over the years to provide a very balanced brew. And I would also say that we offer quite a wide range of flavors. So right now we have 14 flavors in total.
Wow.
And you may not see it in the stores, but if you visit our website, you can see the whole list there. And we also do offer them in different sizes, like the 250 ml, 500 and 1 liter, because we know that people have different needs, and therefore we need to cater to different people's wants. So I would also say that we do tend to do a lot of seasonal flavors. So, for example, like Chinese New Year, we try to come up with flavors that are more on theme with the season. So for Chinese New Year, we did like a milk oolong and a tangerine flavor. And then Christmas, we usually do something with cinnamon, with like malt or with spices.
Right.
And for this coming Raya as well, we are launching soon. I think we're doing a bandung inspired flavor and a pandan flavor one as well. So, just something to keep things exciting and interesting as well. Yes. And
great. And that's awesome. So when I went to your website earlier, what really caught me by surprise was the variety of flavors. Because to me, it was just always what I saw in the stores. But when I went to your website, I had trouble choosing. And coming back to your website, I also came across something which was a subscription, which I think makes life easier, because then I just have to kind of order once and not worry about ordering it again. Could you tell us a little bit more about your subscription?
Yes. So we've actually just launched our subscription model. Basically, we had customers giving us feedback that they always want to drink a lot of kombucha, but is maybe a little bit too expensive, or that they always had to go to a website and check out each time they want to get, like every month or every week or whatsoever. So we've devised this subscription plan in hopes to obviously meet or to cater for regular drinkers who drinks kombucha like every day, or who have like a big household, a big family that they share with, like 4 or 5 people, it does tend to go pretty fast. So we wanted to obviously cater for that and take the hassle take the hassle away of ordering it every time from the website. And we are also right now trying to include more perks as well with the plan. So instead of just giving like maybe a discount for subscription, we are working towards having our partners or doing a collaboration with partners where subscribers are entitled to maybe certain perks from our own partners as well when they subscribe. So it's not just about the kombucha, but for us as well, it's also about working with our own partners and offering them, offering both sides more value.
Yeah. So that's great. The subscription makes sure that I can get my supply of kombucha regularly. Is there like a recommended amount of kombucha that I should drink? I believe that it's not a one-off. You can't just drink one bottle and expect magic to happen. And I would definitely get a subscription because if I want to see the benefits of what kombucha can do for me, I would imagine I have to drink it regularly. Is there like a certain amount that I should be drinking? Is it a daily thing? Is it twice a day? Like how much would you recommend for someone to get started to see the benefits?
Well, as a rule of thumb, it's better to drink a little bit every day or every other day rather than one large serving in one go. So a little bit would be about 250 ml, maybe 150 to 250 ml. So basically a cup. You don't get like extra benefits by drinking like 1 liter or the whole bottle in one sitting. This is kombucha something to maintain your gut health, right? And so it is a long-term. It is more a long-term lifestyle in order to see results lah. It's not. It should not be treated as like medicine where you drink it and expect it to cure anything that you may have. It doesn't usually work that way. What it's trying to do is just trying to maintain your gut in a healthy balance so that it manifests into other, so that your body can function normally.
Yeah. And because it's something that I don't take one off, that means now I'm going to make kombucha part of my daily routine, right? And as with it, always I always hear this. I'm sure you've heard this too. People always bring up the argument that healthy eating is expensive, or now I got to drink kombucha. Oh, it's expensive. I think expensive is just really a matter of perspective and how you look at it. What do you say when people come to you and say, have people actually asked you before, like, why is kombucha expensive? Or what would you tell people if they say that, Jason, healthy eating is expensive? What would your response be to them?
I think healthy, like you say, is perspective. Healthy eating will depend on where you're from or what you eat. I would say that the reason why maybe people think that it's expensive is because maybe because foods tend to be they rely more on human labor rather than machinery or or things like that are mass produced. So anything usually with handmade or done manually tends to be more expensive in that sense. And I suppose with commercialized or mass produced with commercialized foods where machinery is involved, they typically can have more with, or they can typically produce more with their output is typically more, and so you get more bang for your buck than than fresh fruits or healthy foods in that sense. So so I think that is that perception of healthy foods and why they are expensive. And I would say that it doesn't need to be that way. I think in Malaysia especially, I think we are quite blessed with a lot of crops and veggies and meat compared to other Western countries that I see, like in the UK or the US. So, I think for us it's actually still, I'm not sure whether affordable is the right word, but it is still sustainable, right? You don't necessarily need to get organic vegetables at your Ben's grocers or whatever. You can get them at the wet market, for instance. And things like that, and it just works. I think why we also think healthy food is expensive is maybe because we are also subjected to media. Like when we see like this chef making like this healthy plate of whatever, we tend to think like, oh my gosh, everything there's imported, everything looks like it's from don't know from a specialty maker, but when reality it's actually something you could perhaps get at your pasar malam somewhere.
That's true. And I think also to add on to that, I think sometimes we fail to see that food is actually medicine. And like in the example, like your story that you shared just now, like you had eczema for years. And what would you be willing to pay if I said that if you ate this, or if you started drinking this, or incorporating this into your diet, you would get rid of your eczema? That's kind of priceless if you ask me, right? So in many ways, food can heal us. And as we start to look at food as medicine and an investment into our health, I really believe that people would hopefully start to see that it's really a matter of perspective, because I would spend money if I knew it's going to improve my health. So great. Thank you for sharing that with us, Jason. Jason, if it's my first time going to your website and ordering kombucha, and you've got a massive variety of flavors, what would you suggest would be the first one to get? Or maybe your best seller?
So usually the fruity flavors tend to be the best-selling ones. So blueberry is, I think, the best-selling ones, followed by the lychee rose, the pineapple, the peach, the sencha. I cannot remember what else is there. But usually the fruity flavors, I would say, are the best-selling ones, because I think people enjoy these fruits. It's identifiable, and so they like to go for these flavors lah. The black, if you are new, then the black tea or white tea kombucha, those are the original or unflavored ones. So those are good as well to try if you are new. They are easy to drink, and you get to try the actual taste of the kombucha tea itself.
Right. Do you have a favorite? What's your go-to?
You can't ask me that question, lah. I like all of it, right?
Okay. Got it. So
I like all of it, so that's why they are there.
Good answer. Okay.
But
all right.
it changes from time to time, I would say.
It changes from time to time. And I think it's really cool that you keep coming up with new flavors, because that way everybody gets to enjoy what's coming out there. Let's just sidetrack a little bit, Jason, as in, firstly, congratulations on surviving the pandemic, when so many cafes and healthy outlets and gyms had to close down or had their business interrupted. You guys are still here. You're still putting things out. But I'm not saying that things went well, smooth sailing all for you. But is there any lessons that you would share as an entrepreneur running a food health-based business? Any lessons that you would share with us that happened throughout the 2-year pandemic with you guys?
I would say the biggest thing or the biggest lesson for us was moving to an online business. I think people have definitely heard of this before, but we were very fortunate in that before the pandemic in 2020, we had just set up our web store, not knowing the pandemic was about to come. But it's a good thing we did, because that was the only thing that kept us running really over the whole MCO periods. If it weren't for that, then that would definitely, I think it would be also difficult for us to sustain that ourselves. So that was the biggest lesson for us, is putting the time and effort into promoting and into marketing online, because things have definitely changed since. I would also say that actively engaging in collaborations and working with people definitely helped us as well, because it obviously lets our customers know about us and vice versa as well. So I think these were the two things that we have learned over the pandemic, and I think till today we've carried on that. We have been carrying on that as well lah. So yeah, moving to an online strategy is a good one.
Okay, great. And thank you for sharing that. I think it's great that the pandemic forced a lot of us to move online and to really just get out there. And people are more aware of what you have to offer right now. And can you tell us in terms of your reach, as in like, are you currently just catering to like the Klang Valley, or can someone order your items if they are not from this part of Malaysia?
Yeah, no, we also do supply to other states in West Malaysia, so Penang, Johor, anywhere except for Sabah and Sarawak, because
Okay.
we've not been able to find someone who can do it for us.
Okay.
Basically, when we do send to other states, it is done in with a co-logistics company, so that everything has to be delivered chilled. So that is the main challenge over there, lah. But otherwise,
Got
yeah,
it.
we can send it anywhere.
Got it. And do you have any behind the scenes funny story or anything awesome from a customer feedback that you'd be able to share with us that maybe you haven't shared with anyone before?
Funny story, not that I can think of, but um, it always it always feels very good when a customer tells us that, hey, my constipation problem is gone. I've been drinking a kombucha, and I feel so much better now. Or some customers who have had some acne or psoriasis or other like small skin problems as well, who reports to us and tell us like, oh yeah, I've actually seen improvements. That has always been like the best stories to hear lah. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it feel like it's all worthwhile. Like you're not just selling
Yes.
drinks, but you're actually improving people's health. I can
Yep.
totally imagine what that feels like. Thank you for sharing that with us. Last couple of questions, Jason. Where can we learn more about Wild Kombucha, or where can we place our order?
We are so the easiest way would be a website, www.wildkombucha.co.co.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can check us out on our Instagram or Facebook at wildkombucha.co.
Okay, got it. And one last thing, Jason, do you have any special offers or anything that's on your website? Maybe like, is there a special deal if we went online that you could tell us about?
At the moment, we don't have any plan or any promos planned. We are getting our Raya flavors ready, which will be launching very soon. So the new flavors for Raya will be out very, very soon. I think we're trying to rush it by this week.
Okay.
And there will be a promotion maybe later on. I think after the first week of Puasa, I think around that time. Yeah, so we will have something coming up soon. Yes.
Great, and we will stay tuned for that. And there is free shipping on your website if you order a certain amount, that I remember.
Yeah.
So that's a good deal. So okay, Jason, this part of we've reached the end, but this part was actually not planned in any way. This is like a rapid fire questions. So it's kind of like speed dating, where you like don't have a lot of time to think about it. But basically, I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. They're not hard questions; they're just easy questions. But you just got to answer the first thing that comes to your mind. Sounds good?
Okay.
Okay. So what is the one must-have thing in your fridge?
One must-have thing, kombucha.
There you go. I was
Right?
like, this is a no-brainer. Yeah. Okay. Are you a person who likes running on the treadmill or running outdoors?
Running outdoors.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Make my bed.
Okay. Dumbbells or kettlebells?
Dumbbells.
Vegan burgers, yes or no?
Yes.
If you had to write a book tomorrow, what would the title be?
Oh boy. 101 recipes for kombucha flavors. By kombucha.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would that be?
I would live here in Malaysia.
Okay, awesome. And lastly, what is something that you are really good at?
Something I'm really good at.
There's a lot, I'm
Oh
sure,
boy.
but one thing that pops to your mind.
One thing I'm really good at. Oh gosh, I would say, I don't know. I like working out, but I'm not sure if I can be good at working out.
Okay, that works. You like working out. You're good at. For you,
Yeah,
everyone
no, I
runs
mean
their own
like,
race.
yeah, I mean, it's not a sport specifically, but just like to, just like to be fit or stay fit. Yeah.
Got it. Love that. Thank you, Jason. To our audience watching this right now, we will be leaving the links on how you can head over to Wild Kombucha's website, how you can place your orders, where you can learn more. We're also going to tag their Instagram page. They've got lots of posts coming up. I'm sure they'll be posting about their new seasonal flavors for Hari Raya coming up as well. So be sure to head over to those links and like, follow, interact, and place your orders with them. Thank you, Jason. Thank you for your time with us today. Time is something that once you give it, you can't take it back. So I appreciate you being here, sharing everything about not just Wild Kombucha, but really about how healthy eating and taking care of your of what goes into your body has an outward effect towards your health. Thank you, Jason.
Hey, thanks so much, Noel. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for that interview, Noel. And I'm sure Jason is watching this on Instagram. Now, I like that the question, Noel, when you asked what book would you want to write, and Jason replied, 101 recipes about kombucha. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Because if you really go through their website, which I'm going to paste the link in the Facebook and LinkedIn version, they get to click, they do have a lot of recipes and a lot of very interesting recipes. And some of these kombuchas flavor you don't see in hypermarket. So do check them out. And Jason, if you do publish your book, Noel and I will be the first one to get a copy of your 101 recipes for kombucha. So we are back on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on Instagram, just fine tuning the angle. If you would like a packet consists of 6 bottles of different flavor of kombucha, all you have to do is ask a question and we're going to send them over to you. I'm going to invite Noel to unmute and we'll be right back.
Okay. Great. Awesome. That was great. Thank you all for just like being so engaged. Thank you also to Jason and to Wild Kombucha, who was here throughout the whole conversation. Although this was a pre-recorded interview, Jason was actually answering questions over on Instagram. To those of y'all who missed it, that's okay, because we will have a recording of this whole thing available to all of y'all. But like Alvin said earlier, we are bribing all of y'all. Just being super honest. We're bribing all of y'all, like, just stay engaged, ask an awesome question, and Alvin and I are going to gift you with 6, not one bottle, not 2, not 3, because I think kombucha needs, like Jason said, you can't just drink one bottle and expect something, right? So that's why we're going to give you 6 bottles, and it's free, no strings attached. And we're going to pick someone before we end this live stream tonight. I will ask Alvin also to just have a quick look on Facebook and on LinkedIn if there's any questions, because there's a bunch of questions on Instagram, which is great. and we will run through with it as well. And Elvin and I will try to answer them. And we also know that we have the team from Wild Kombucha being here. So Elvin, shall I just get on the questions on Instagram? Should I?
Let's do that.
Okay. Okay, there's a whole bunch. Let me see. Okay, this next question comes from Penny. Penny is saying, I have a client who's not a breakfast person. Her first meal of the day is lunch. Should I still encourage her to take breakfast? I'll answer that, Elvin. So Penny, I would say that actually breakfast, lunch, dinner, if you just wiped away all those terms, fancy names for every time you eat, it's not about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but it's really about an opportunity to eat. So if a client says that I don't want to eat breakfast, my first meal of the day is lunch, actually their lunch is their breakfast. So it doesn't really matter, because some people wake up at 11 a.m. and they're going to eat at 1 p.m. Does it mean that they skip their breakfast? No, it doesn't. So instead of looking at, are you having your breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I want to invite you to look at it from a different way. Are you eating when you're supposed to eat to support your fitness goals? That's how we should look at it. It's not about skipping meals. It's not about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but it's really about, are you eating when you're supposed to be eating? Because some people work on shift and they go to bed at 7 a.m. and they wake up at 2. So when they wake up at 2 and they eat at 4, what is it that they're eating at 4? It's technically breakfast, right? So instead of fixing it in terms of you're missing this and missing that, and it's not. So look at it in terms of a feeding opportunity. Then you realize that it doesn't matter so much what time you're eating, but are you eating to support your fitness goals? Okay, I hope that helps. Penny, anything you want to add, Elvin?
Yes, I love that when you said eat to support your fitness goal. I think that is the most important, as if your client is cutting down windows of opportunity to eat, then you want to make sure that they're having enough nutrients. With that being said, if a client with very specific nutrition requirements, my first step is to refer them to a nutritionist or dietitian to have them take charge of your client's nutrition protocol. However, what I can also do, or what you can also do, Penny, or any fitness professional, is to advise them on the guidelines and see how they can best adapt a very healthy and sustainable eating habits in their lifestyle. And you, Penny, as a fitness professional, can facilitate or can help them to building that habits by with all these guidelines, as we gone through ACE, we gone through NASM, we gone through precision nutrition, very, very easy to follow infographic details that we can share with our clients. So that would be my advice to you, Penny.
Yeah, and I like what Elvin said just now, because he said that we as fitness professionals can facilitate our clients eating better, because if you're a fitness professional, you know this, you can't step out of your boundaries and prescribe a meal plan, because you're not a nutritionist. You can't give your clients a meal plan, but you can facilitate them helping to eat better. So if a client comes to you, fitness professional, you're not a nutritionist, doesn't mean that, sorry, I can't help you go there, but you can facilitate that. Just always remember that. And of course, as anyone who has a certified fitness professional certification, you know that you can't give meal plans to your clients. Just make sure you stay in your lane. And okay, over to our next question before it gets messy. Next question is, this is from Ida Ghazali. If Jason is still here, you can help this comment, Jason. But Ida's asking, is there an optimal time to consume kombucha? I'm going to answer with the limited knowledge that I have. I'm going to say that as long as you are consuming it, it's going to be good for you. I have read some protocols where people have it first thing in their morning. That means first thing that goes in their stomach, and they wait for a while, and then they have their breakfast. That's another thing that you can try. But I think what's most important is that you get it into your system. also maybe not like something you have a shot of before you go to bed. Maybe it's not something that you drink in the middle of a massive buffet lunch, right? But something more of intentional. Every morning, I'm going to have a little bit, and you make it consistent. I think what matters is that it's consistent, and you got to give it some time. That means I love that while Kombucha has subscriptions, I love that they have a 3 month, 6 month subscription even, because it really is that. It's not a one-off thing. It's not a drink. It really is a commitment to drink it. And I love what Jason said earlier also about how it improved their skin. I've had a bunch of clients who done it, and they are like, my complexion improved and this and that. There's a whole bunch of benefits that you can get. But what Jason shared about his own personal story about eczema improving is massive, and that's not going to take place in a few weeks. And to everyone watching this, if you're skeptical, like Jason didn't pay me for the show. This show is not sponsored. If you're wondering, like, oh, but they're sponsoring you for that 6 bottles. Nope, Alvin and I are buying those bottles and sending it to you. We don't take any money for the show. What that means is that we just invite you that if something sounds interesting, so if you're watching this show right now and you're like, this is interesting, great. I just invite you to try it. Try it, give it a chance. If it works for you, awesome. What's the worst that can happen? If you drank for 3 months, if you drank kombucha, what's the worst that can happen for you? Right? So I invite you to try that, give it a shot. They don't have a discount, but they do have a good deal on their subscription. I believe if you get on the subscription, the shipping is free. And you get like 25% off if you get on a subscription. I'm going to get a subscription. I already bought like 2 massive bottles for myself. It arrives tomorrow in my house. If I'm buying it, I think you can buy it too. Okay. So I hope that answers your question, Ida. Don't think I directly answered it, but if Ida's a client of ours, a trainer at our gym as well. But if you're trying it, I'm trying it too. We'll do it together. Okay. Awesome.
Maybe I'll just add on to that a little bit.
Yes.
So kombucha, I think two things I'm gonna add on to that is, number one is the guests on our show are something Noel and I have experienced, have tried on. Even our previous guests, we actually eaten at or ordered from them, just like Wild Kombucha. So on my experience with kombucha is I take it on first thing in the morning, just like any other fermented drink, similar to apple cider vinegar. However, not everyone can do it. So sometimes when you take first thing in the morning, you might experience upset stomach. So you want to adjust that and see what works best for you. But to maximize the gut bacteria, the potency of the, I would say, probiotic in the kombucha first thing in the morning is ideal. Once again, depending on how you feel. So that's my answer to you, Ida. Give it a try and see what works best for you.
Great. Ida's gonna buy the 6-month subscription. I know you,
yes,
Ida.
Go for it.
That's you. There's a whole bunch of this kombucha thing is hot. This question wasn't even on the commenting. But Mong Peng, a client of our gym, is asking. And if Jason, if you are here, if she's asking if kombucha is sweet, does it mean it's not suitable for diabetic people? Interesting question. So that means if kombucha tastes sweet, does it mean that if I'm diabetic, it's not suitable? That's one question. These are not on the. So Mong Peng and Eugene, if you could ask your question on the little question mark icon below, it helps me post it. Otherwise, I'm just reading this to Jason. If Jason doesn't answer it, I'll get back to it sometime in the future. Another question also by Eugene is, how much is too much kombucha? Great. Good question. And while I wait for Jason, I'll share a kombucha story. Can I share a personal funny kombucha story?
Go ahead, Noel.
No one's going to believe this story. So you won't find this in Malaysia. So I think a few years ago, but 4 years ago, Kim and I were in San Diego, California, and I found a little coffee place which also served kombucha. Okay, but kombucha from the tap, it's like super cool. You get a little glass of kombucha, but this kombucha was different. It's called hard kombucha. Jason is rolling his eyes right now. It's like, oh my God. So hard hard kombucha means the kombucha has alcohol in a more than usual amount. This is like 6-7%. That's like more than a beer. So I was sitting, I knew exactly what it was. Kim didn't know. Okay. So I was sitting there. I think I had like, again, this is because of Eugene's question. How much is too much, right? So I think I had six glasses of hot kombucha. It's probably too much. It didn't feel like I drank something that would improve my health because I drank 6 of it. But that's my silly story. But yeah, so coming back to Jason, if you were to answer Eugene's question, how much kombucha is too much kombucha? Because but Eugene, Jason did mention in his interview just now that to start off, you're looking at about 250 ml on a daily basis. I don't think anything more than that is going to bring about a positive change. But also at the same time, I think, it's just human nature, right? We Malaysians, more means better. No, it's not. It's not about that.
Only works with water.
Only works with water. And I think if you're not used to kombucha, if you drank this whole bottle, I think you're going to run to the toilet. I think, right? So more doesn't mean better, but it is gradually increasing it. Jason's suggestion earlier about first thing in the morning, a little bit, I think that's a great way to introduce kombucha into your system. Okay, yeah. I hope that helps.
And Noel, coming back
yes.
to Monping's question,
yes.
So there's a study done in 2018 found that kombucha has the ability to significantly reduce blood sugar and hemoglobin, which increase insulin production. So it is one of a prescription by doctor. So I'm going to share the link to the study. So it's a research study on the Facebook version. So Monping, I invite you to check it out and have an in-depth review of this study, which would answer your question. Yes.
Yeah.
If you have diabetic, you can drink. And I believe Jason also further added on.
He did. And actually, Jason did answer Eugene's question earlier. My bad. Eugene asked how much is too much, right? So Jason actually answered usually around 250 ml is good. And I will tell you all also that, can I tell you all that there's a lot of healthy drinks out there. I feel bad when I drink something and it's overly sweetened because I feel like, why do I have to drink all the sugar to get a health benefit? That's how I feel anytime when someone gives me something healthy to drink. Always. But when I drank wild kombucha, I did not feel like I was drinking something that's gonna, why am I drinking all the sugar? Okay, so that's what I would say. More questions coming in. There's a whole bunch. I mean, you may want to look on your Facebook and Instagram. Wild kombucha also said it can be consumed before, after meals, lunch or dinner is all right. So there you go. They answered Ida already. Wow, you guys should be on our show every week. If you are sensitive to caffeine, perhaps not in the evenings. Okay, that's interesting. Who else is here? Clarissa is saying she learned something new. Didn't know having kombucha first thing in the morning is the best. It's first thing in the morning is always the best. Looking through. I'm scrolling back, like so many questions. Wow. Joanna is also one of our members. She's saying, I love wild kombucha. I order like every month. Great. So Joanna, now they have a subscription and you get up to 25% off. So you get the subscription. Okay. That's awesome. Okay, done. Wait, there's more questions. I think we have 3 more. This one is from Ida. I can't answer this again. This is a question for Jason and his team. Ida saying, how do you tell a kombucha is a good kombucha? Characteristics to look out for in a good kombucha. Okay, I want to answer with my limited knowledge. I'll answer first. I would say 2 things, which I kind of mentioned in my interview just now. So number 1 is, I think a good kombucha should not be too sweet. Because if you understand the fermentation process, you realize that in order to trigger the whole thing, you add sugar into the mixture with the SCOBY, which is the bacteria and all of that. and the bacteria digests the sugar to create all the good stuff. So if your kombucha is very sweet, that means the bacteria did not do its job fully, or too much sugar was added to suit the Malaysian palate, which is usually the case lah, right? The Milo in Malaysia has more sugar than the Milo in Australia. This is always the case. So to me, that's why I said in my interview that I love the fact that this kombucha was not too sweet, because every damn kombucha I drink is so sweet, as in like, ayo, what's the point? So I think number one is, again, Jason can give a totally different answer, but I would say the kombucha is too sweet, stay away. That means not fully processed yet, right? In fact, the more sugar you add, the more alcohol you should have. In the US, when I said the hard kombucha, more sugar, more alcohol. So if here they add more sugar and there's no alcohol, so what happened in between? Why did they add more sugar and there's no more alcohol, but it's more sweet? Are they trying to please your palate? Probably. Okay, that's my, I'm not a brewer, I'm just a fitness trainer. Just my opinion, number one. Number two is the
And
second
a kombucha.
correct.
Yeah.
What's that?
Carry on.
My
Carry on.
second thing would be to look out for the fizziness, the carbonation, because that's also a byproduct of the processing, the bacteria. If it's not fizzy enough, that means a lot of digestion did not happen in that kombucha. If I open a bottle of kombucha, if the bottle popped open like champagne, I'll be like, yes. And it has, Alvin. I've been to a restaurant in DC Mall. They had a kombucha. I opened it. Kim almost literally jumped off the table because my bottle almost exploded. But to me, that's like great, good kombucha. But if I open the kombucha, no gas, really? It sat in the supermarket for a week and there's no gas. I'm like, okay, what am I missing? So again, this is me, layman, fitness trainer. I'm not a brewer. I'm just a drinker of whatever. That's just my two tips, Ida.
Yeah.
And if Jason is saying it should taste yummy and delicious, and if not, and if you're forcing down their throat, okay, he's just being this really very nice.
And then
Alvin,
one more thing,
have you
Noel.
drank?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. One more thing I think to be mindful of, like what you said, is take a look at the ingredient list. Sometimes when kombucha have too many ingredients, you know something is wrong. You want to try to stick more to the natural product, the natural source. So lesser ingredients would be the ingredient list would be a tell sign for you, like Ida, or those who are looking for a more close to a natural source of fermented drink. In this case, would be kombucha. Yes, Noel.
Great. There's a few. Okay, these three questions we answered already. One more. This is what you posted earlier, Alvin. This was on LinkedIn. I can't answer this, but there was a question on LinkedIn earlier. Someone asked, can my 7-year-old daughter drink kombucha for an eczema problem? Here's my first response to it. Again, I'm not a nutritionist and I'm not a brewer of kombucha, but I would say that I believe that kombucha is suitable for all ages. It's nothing unnatural. It's healthy, it's probiotics, it's good for your digestion. Neither does it mean that you should be pumping your daughter with liters and liters of kombucha. I think if you followed what Jason said earlier about introducing kombucha into the diet, like 250 ml per day, no harm. No harm can be done. Your daughter is drinking a lot of other things that can be a lot more harmful than the kombucha. It's all the Coca-Cola and all those other things which can be more harmful, right? So it's interesting because sometimes we look at something so natural and harmless at this, and we think that, oh my gosh, what happens if I drink this? But we don't think about all those other things which are literally loaded with the chemicals and all those things. We don't bat an eye and we're like, no problem, I can give this to my kids. So great question. Thank you for asking that. I think it's no harm, but then again, check with your daughters. What do you call the doctor that treats your kids? Pediatrician?
Yes, correct.
Great.
Yeah.
Check with your pediatrician.
And one more thing I like to
yes, Alvin, go ahead.
Add on, Noel, like one in most things, when we want to include a new exercise, we want to include a new food or drink into our nutrition or life, it's important to be mindful of progressive overload, progressive adding onto it. Like one thing we can do is start with 50 ml of kombucha, for example, and mix it with water. So you dilute it. And then over the next few days, few weeks, if it's okay, you gradually increase. So you kind of build it up. And this works with a lot of other healthy foods in our life. In fact, also with our gym sessions and our training. Everything we do, we want to add a little bit, and a little bit leads to massive results, effective results in the long run. Just like what Noel, you asked Jason, should I just drown 1 liter of it and have get the benefit? You get little to no benefit by just drinking 1 liter of kombucha.